Good day, everyone. I am Ray Marcia Susana, and I am the first reporter of Chapter 11, which is all about reflective practice using assessment data. So, after learning how to assess students' learning by way of authentic assessment methods and tools, this chapter is now focused on the assessment of your own teaching practice as a future teacher. So now, let us talk about what is reflective practice. Reflective practice is, in its simplest form, thinking about what you do. It is closely linked to the concept of learning from experience, and that you think about and monitor what you did and what happened and decide based from that what you do differently next time. Reflective practice is beyond casual thinking. Reflective practice requires a conscious effort to think and events and develop insights from them. It also encourages teachers to explore their own beliefs and assumptions about learners, teaching learning including assessment, and to find solutions to problems. That is why they said that reflection helps us to develop our own learning and teaching framework. So, for a teacher who wants to improve their practice and gain knowledge based on what they've experienced, the reflective practice is one of the key contributors to achieve it. Moreover, reflective practice also develops your ability to understand how your students learn from you and what is the best way to teach them so they can learn from you effectively. This would also help you to reflect on your own experience and would do things different the next time if what you did last meeting is not that good or your students didn't learn effectively to you. So by reflecting in your own teaching style, it will help you to understand what method of teaching your students learn best from you and will allow you to be more accountable for their progress. And now, let us talk about the learner attainment data, a measure of teaching effectiveness, in which this would help the teachers to assess if they are teaching effectively. So we have the number one, daily lesson log or DLL. For a week, the DLL shows the lesson for each day with the index of mastery computed accurately. The index of mastery contains the learner attainment data that measure the learner's mastery level of the competency. It guides the teachers in their instruction and allows them to determine whether the learners are ready to proceed to the next lesson or if they need additional activities for remediation. So the daily lesson log or the DLL will actually help the teachers by means of having an opportunity for reflection regarding on what their students need to learn, how their students learn, and what is the best way to facilitate the learning progress. This would also give an insight to the teachers whether their students are ready or not to proceed to the next lesson or if the students need more activities for their remediation. And this would also help the teachers to make an adjustment to address the needs of his or her students. Now let us proceed to number two, which is the Electronic Class Record or the ECR. This is another document that teachers use to monitor and evaluate the learner's progress and achievement. The electronic class record, including the grading sheet and summary of quarterly grades, allows teachers to monitor individually the learner attainment data per specific learning area and assess whether the learner passed or failed. With this tool, teachers can clearly assess the progress and achievement of each learner and can provide him or her with instructional intervention or enrichment. So the electronic class record or the ECR, which is actually formulated by using a Microsoft, is usually helpful for the teachers as it gives them an important grading information for their students. So with the ECR, class recording of grades is more reliable and easier. Furthermore, teachers can easily monitor the progress of their students and they can also assess whether their students passed or failed their subjects. So for now, let us talk about the last document that teachers can use to monitor learners' performance. It is the number 3, which is the progress chart. So the teachers also uses a progress chart to monitor his or her learners' progress quarterly based on class average. The chart helps him or her to have a general assessment of his or her learner's progress and to design activities appropriate to their level of proficiency. So the progress chart actually helps the teachers to monitor their students quarterly whether they improve or not. And by browsing the chart, teachers will be able to know what are the things they need to reteach to their students. And then furthermore, it also helps the teachers to anticipate what are the future needs of his or her students. So by this, they can also evaluate the effectiveness of their own teaching style. So they can reflect to their teaching style whether they are effective or not, or whether their students learn from them or not. And for now, let us shift our focus on the other ways of evaluating learner achievement. So we have the item analysis. So item analysis is a process which examines learner responses to individual task items in order to assess the quality of each task item and of the test as a whole. This is to improve test items and to enhance the teacher's skills in task construction and to identify specific areas which needs improvement. So the item analysis is the process in which it is the act of collecting, summarizing, and using the information we gather from our students' response to assess the quality of our own test items. So the item analysis will also help the teachers to examine the assessment and know if they're a good measure for teaching their students or for testing their students. So for instance, giving a test to a group of students, if they find it to be too simple or too challenging, it does not help us to measure the learning of our students. For the continuation of this report, Ms. Asima Muhammad and Mr. Saipula Agay will do the honors. Thank you for listening.
Everyone, I am Asima M. Muhammad, BSED English 3A. Frequency table with main score, standard deviation, and main percentage. So, frequency table. In addition to the item analysis, you may also measure learner achievement by using a frequency table for pre-test and post-test results. So, pre-test is ito yung mini-measure niya kung hanggang saan yung learning ng isang students. And then post-test naman is for example sa subject na science. And then yung topic nila is about sa mga plants. And then after the discussion, magbibigay ng post-test yung teacher kung ano yung naintindihan ng students about sa discussion. So, this table is, ito yung example ng frequency table. So, frequency is, kaya itong 7 sa frequency is, for example, sa inside the classroom. And then, yung 30 students and yung 30 students is, ang nakakuha lang ng 85 scores is 7. So, yun yung frequency. And then, main score naman is, so, frequency, so, yung, ay, sa main score, so, yung scores is, yung scores which is 85, 90, 92, 78, 80, and 88 is, i-add yan lahat. So, 85 plus 90 plus 92 plus 78 plus 88 equals 43. So, kung gaano kadami yung scores, doon mo i-divide yung 433. So, yung scores is 5. So, 5 divided by 433 33 equals 86.6. So, yung lalabas doon is yun yung main score. So, ang main score dito is 86.6. And then, standard deviation naman is to calculate the standard deviation, find the difference between each score and the mean. Find the mean average of the data set, add up all the scores, and divide by the total number of scores. So, yung scores is 80 plus 85 plus 90 plus 95 plus 100. So, ang lalabas doon na answer is 450. So, 5 divided by 450 equals 90. So, yun yung main score. And then, step 2 naman is subtract the mean from each scores and square the result. So, yung scores ng students and yung main scores is i-subtract natin yun. So, 80 minus 90 square root of 2 equals 100. 85 minus 90 square root of 2 equals 25. 90 minus 90 square root of 2 equals 0. 95 minus 90 square root of 2 equals 25. 100 minus 90 square root of 2 equals 100. So, step 3, find the mean of the squared differences calculated in step 2. So, ang mean square of differences is 100. 100 plus 225 plus 0 plus 25 plus 100. So, ang dami nun is 5. So, 5. So, after mo ma-add yung after mo ma-subtract yung the mean score, after mo ma-subtract yung mean from each scores and square, so yung lalabas doon is i-add natin yung lahat. So 100 plus 25 plus 0 plus 25 plus 100 equals 250. So 250 divided by 5 equals 50. So the mean is 50. And then step 4 naman, take the square root of the mean of squared differences to get the standard deviation. So standard deviation is equals standard deviation divided by 50. So yung lumabas na mean, which is yung 50, is i-divide, lagyan mo yun ng divide sign and then equal. So yung lumabas na answer is 7.06. So yan yung standard deviation. And then sa mean percentage naman, a class of students took English test with a maximum score of 100. The students' scores were as follows. Student scores 80, 90, 95, 70, and 85. So, to find the mean percentage, we will calculate the average of the individual percentage. So, the first student scored is 80 out of 100, which is 80%. So, i-add natin lahat ng scores, which is yung 80, 90, 95, 70, and 85. So, ang kalalabasan is 420. So, 420 divided by 5, equals 84%. So, yun yung main percentage is 84%. Reflective practice through performance evaluation. So, reflective practice is dito nagre-reflect yung ginagawa natin. For instance, our performance, action, or decision. So, as we critically examine our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, or ourselves during our performance or discussion, we gain insight into areas where we excelled in areas where we can make improvement. As expressed in the above paragraph, the most concrete and obvious proof of teachers' teaching performance. Ang pinakamalinaw or concrete and evident measure sa kausayan ng teacher sa kanilang teaching is nagre-reflect sa mga students. So kung ano yung mga natutunan nila is may apply nila yun even the outside. So yun yung magiging concrete proof na effective kang teacher. So for instance, kapag yung topic mo is na kaya nang i-demonstrate ng learners mo and naintindihan nila yun ng maayos, means you are effective teacher. Some important reminders. Number 1, evaluation from each sector of evaluators must not be viewed in isolation. So kapag ini-evaluate ang performance ng teacher, it is important to consider feedback from your various sources or sa mag-evaluate sa iyo, such as the students, your co-teacher, or the administrator. So you as a teacher, hindi lang magpo-focus sa good feedback yung matatanggap mo. So for instance, if your students gives you a good feedback dahil you are effective teachers or applicable yung teaching mo, it doesn't mean na good feedback din yung matatanggap mo from the administrator or sa co-teacher mo. And maybe their feedback can lead to improve your professional skills as a teacher. So number 2 naman, teachers should embrace a growth mindset and be open to receiving feedback and constructive criticism from others. So it's important to consider someone's opinion or suggestion kasi malay mo yung opinion nila or suggestion can improve and enhance your instructionalist method of or your teaching strategy. Students as evaluators, making students' evaluation meaningful. So the statement highlights the importance of involving students in the evaluation process to make it meaningful. So students' evaluations can help you modify or can help the teacher modify, plan, or redesign a course. And also it helps teachers and learners to improve teaching and learning. So, from the word deliberate, means is engaging student to evaluate, and dapat yung feedback nila is valued and taken seriously, and also dapat naka-align sa learning objectives yung lesson to be able for the students to understand the lesson para makabigay sila ng feedback. Next one is empowering. And then sa empowering naman is they should feel empowered. So the students should feel empowered to express their opinions, ideas, and concerns. And then for raging, students feedback na malaki yung magiging impact. So for instance, sa school and then my program. So sa program, sa decorate, for instance, my program sa school and then involved yung mga students sa pag-decorate kasi yung students is may mga suggestion din sila para mas mapaganda yung event. So ganun din sa teachers. So, students as evaluators is yung mga binibigay nilang feedback is there is a possibility na malaki yung magiging impact nila sa iyo. Kasi, may improve nun yung teaching strategies mo or yung teaching. And then sustainable, it refers to ensuring that student engagement and evaluation still continuous and ongoing para mas lalong ma-develop yung evaluation skills nila. Through this statement, students have the chance to develop their feedback skills. And then applicable feedback is educators or teachers should develop evaluation methods that are practical, relevant, and applicable to the learner's context. So, for example, instead of using complex evaluations forms, educator could implement a simple reading skills that students can easily understand and apply. Honest, open, solution-oriented. So, students should be encouraged to provide honest and open feedback during the evaluations process. So, honest, open, and solution-oriented individuals are encouraged to express their thoughts, ideas freely while also being receptive to receiving feedback from others. So, for example, as my group activity or my peer evaluations or my partners yung students. And then, kung ano yung magiging feedback ng partners nila is, kumbaga ba is, pwedeng makadevelop yon sa teaching or sa learning skills nila yung feedback na makukuha nila or kapag gumagawa sila ng project and then yung mga kagrupo nila is magbigay ng feedback para makabuti doon sa project nila. So the first type of evaluation mentioned is an occasional large scale forum. So this could involve gathering the opinions of students from one or all grade levels. So this forum provides an opportunity for students to express their thoughts, concerns, and ideas on various aspects of their learning experiences. And then the second type of evaluation is creating a regular pattern or of evaluative feedback and lessons. So this involves integrating evaluation practices into the regular classroom activities. Teachers can incorporate feedback exercises where students provide input on their learning experiences, their understanding of the material, and suggestions for improvement. And then the third type of evaluation highlighted is facilitating one-to-one or small group discussion with a specific subgroup of students. So this can include students who may be disengaged, high achievers, or students from minority. So this discussion aimed to understand how these specific students groups are feeling about their learning experiences. So the feedback gathered from this discussion can help shape new initiatives or tailor teaching strategies to better meet the needs of the students subgroup. Pair as evaluators, making pair evaluation of teaching work. So you as a teacher is, yung ka-pair mo is, katulad mo din na teacher, and then yung binibigay nilang feedback is pwede mong magamit yon or makuha yon to improve more, to improve your teaching styles, your strategies, or yung pagiging professional mo. So as England 1996, yung peer evaluation is setting out to inquire into their own practice. So inquire into their own practice. So for example, excellent teachers are curious about their teaching methods and constantly seek to understand and improve their practice. So yung performance nila is nagre-reflect yon sa performance nila. And then asking themselves kung effective ba yung teaching strategies nila sa students. And then identifying key issues. So identifying key issues is ito yung identifying key issues means recognizing and prioritizing important areas or challenges that teachers want to address and improve in their practice. So it involves actively seeking out areas where they can enhance their teaching methods, strategies, or approaches to better support student feedback. So once you have identified the key issue, they take steps to address them. So this could involve reaching best practices, attending professional development workshops, or conferences. So identifying key issues is, for instance, yung students nila is for instance is nanotice nila that their students is is hindi na-engage sa hindi nakakasabay sa ibang students, or pwedeng the feedback of your students na you should improve more. Kumbaga yung pagiging professional mo as a teacher, and yung strategies, yung mga ginagamit mong strategies. So pwede mo pa yun siyang i-improve. And then sa posing questions for themselves is ito yung mga teachers na napapatanong sa sarili nila. For instance is, how can they modify their activity to meet diverse needs of their students? Or what instructional strategies they can use to promote higher overthinking skills? So these questions demonstrate a commitment to meeting the individualized needs of their students and creating an effective learning environment. And then exploring alternatives and taking rest. So ito yung mga so you as a teacher, yung teaching style mo or your teaching strategy mo is hindi na-engage. Kumbaga ba is hindi na-engage ng students mo. So ang gagawin mo is mag-try out ka ng new approaches or new style to be able for them to engage themselves. And then the last, doing all of this in the company of peers. So excellent teachers understand the value of collaboration and seek the support and input of their colleagues. So they actively engage with peers to discuss ideas, share experiences, and receive constructive criticism. So they value the feedback and support that peers can offer in the pursuit of continuous improvement. So, and this topic is binavalue ng dapat i-valued or i-consider ng teachers yung feedback or support ng peers nila to be able for them to improve more. So the last part, concrete examples of peer as evaluators. So below are first-hand experiences of teachers who were part of peer evaluation in Summit Elementary School of Cherry Creek School District, Colorado, USA. So they also serve as concrete illustrations of peer observation, mentoring, and evaluation. So discussing the observation. So based on the module, discussing the observation. Based on the module, during the observations, one of the teacher noticed how an intermediate teacher arranged the furniture in her classroom. So specifically, she arranged the desk in cluster of 4. However, the observing teacher, who was a primary teacher, noticed that the students one particular cluster, which was positioned against a wall, seemed to be less attentive compared to the others. So in a group discussion, the primary teacher shared her observation with the rest of the teacher using humor to express her thought. She said, "It's just like being in restaurants, everybody wants a boat." So this remark caught the attention of the upper grade teacher, who had never thought about the arrangement's potential impact on student behavior before. So because of the trust and supportive environment that the group had developed throughout the year, the upper grade teacher was open to considering the recommendation from her peer. So she decided to try different arrangement of the furniture in her classroom, taking into the insight shared by primary teacher. As a result, the general patterns of student behavior improve in her classroom. So based on the statement ng teacher sa Summit Elementary School, based on her observation, is it highlights the power of peer feedback and the importance of trust within a professional community. The upper grade teacher might not have been as receptive to the suggestion if it had come from an external source or in a less caring and trusting environment. The positive outcome demonstrate how the level of trust and support among teachers can lead to effective collaboration and to and improvement in teaching practices. So overall, this scenario exemplifies the benefits of engaging in classroom observations and group discussions where teacher can learn from each other's experiences, share insights, and adapt their instruction based on individual needs. And then writing letters that invite reflection. So based on the module, the statement is the teacher is in the group engage in discussion about how to write the letters. So they consider factors such as the amount of time needed for writing and how to be an genetic or superficial messages. So The teacher recognized that writing the letters in pairs would require more time, but they believed that it would lead to higher feedback. So to form pairs, the teachers considered how frequently they had been in each other's classroom and the variety of lessons they had observed. So they also benefited from reading letters shared by their colleagues from the previous year, which uh, which which helped them establish content prioritize for their own letters. So based on the statement, the writers praised the teacher they observed for their impressive teaching of first and second grade. So they highlighted the deliberate steps the teacher took to provide meaningful experiences for students, such as in lesson on the value of money. The observation mentioned that the teacher was clear, concise, and methodical, using visual aids to help students understand the lesson and catering to student different levels of understanding. So overall, the statement emphasizes the process of writing letters that invite reflection, encourage personalization, and provide a specific examples and feedback to support teachers in their professional growth. So that's all my report. So and the conclusion of my assigned topic is that it focuses on teaching centered and learning centered. So as a teacher, in order to further improve your teaching strategies, you should consider the opinions or feedback of others, because at the end of the day it will also benefit you. So as a teacher, it is important to prioritize the concerns of our students to enable them to engage in the activities or inside the classroom. Um, Furthermore, you should also be able to adjust as a teacher. So for example, and exploring alternatives and taking risks. So if you notice that your students are struggling or not keeping up with your teaching strategies, you should try out new teaching methods to help them catch up. So that's all. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so this is the continuation of the report of Mr. Remar Arsusena and Muhammad Asima. And I am Saipula Sarigan Agay. I am the last reporter for the chapter 11, which is the reflective practice using assessment data. So now let's proceed. Okay, so how to make peer evaluation work. Number one here is support from school administrators. Support from school administrators is crucial. Administrators should recognize that experienced teachers, due to their daily contact with students, can serve as effective role models for their peers. By observing and learning from each other, teachers can enhance their methods and strategies. Administrators play a key role in this process by fostering an environment where teachers feel empowered to share, learn, and grow. They should view themselves as facilitators, enabling this exchange of knowledge and experience. Okay, let's proceed to the second one. We have the trust. Trust is a fundamental element. It lays the groundwork for open, productive communication and self-evaluation. Trust among peers encourages honest feedback and constructive criticism, which are essential for professional growth. Without trust, the process of peer evaluation may not yield the desired outcome. Number 3 is the time. Time is a significant factor. Just like any learning process, peer evaluation requires time for it to be effective. This might mean dedicating time beyond the regular school day for observations, feedback sessions, and reflection. While this may seem like a substantial investment, the rewards in terms of professional growth and improved teaching practices make it worthwhile. Next is the voluntary. The process should be voluntary. If teachers feel pressured into practicing by other teachers or administrators, it can erode the necessary foundation of trust. Voluntary participation ensures that teachers are engaged in the process and are more likely to be open to giving and receiving feedback. So, for a peer evaluation to work effectively, it requires administrative support, trust, time, and voluntary participation. Next, we have supervisors as evaluators of teaching performance. Remember that if we are including in here a discussion on teacher supervision by school head or supervisor, it is because the results of a teacher supervision by school head are a source of data for assessment of teaching performance, on which teachers must reflect to further improve their teaching practice. So, the supervision by the school head is crucial as it provides data for assessing teaching performance, which teachers can reflect on to enhance their teaching practice. The Department of Education follows a 3-phase supervisory program procedure. Okay, we have the phase 1, we have the startup. In the startup phase, the specific purpose of the supervisory activity is established. This could be based on data from the teacher's strengths and needs assessment or TSNA, the individual plan for professional development or IPPD, or directives from the Department of Education. The purpose could be diagnostic or formative appraisal, support intervention visit, follow-up support intervention, or celebration visit. Next is the build-up phase. In the build-up phase, the build-up phase outlines the supervision or supervisory activities that can take place either on site in the school or off-site, online or outside the school. This phase includes a pre-conference, the actual support activities, and a post-conference. Next is the closure and move on. This is the last phase, closure and move on phase. It concludes that the basic or the specific support intervention activity. In this phase, the hand-holding ends, leading to teacher autonomy, and the professional learning community begins. This community plays the crucial role in providing continuous support to each other. Activities in this phase include an conference, evaluation, celebration, and a smooth transition to the activities of the professional learning community in the school. Okay, so we are now in instructional supervision support intervention strategy. Number one is the study groups. Okay, so in the study groups, teachers form study groups to collaborate on curriculum design and instructional innovation. They meet regularly to discuss and share ideas, resources, and best practices. For example, a group of math teachers may come together to explore new teaching strategies for improving students' understanding of algebraic expression or algebraic concepts. Okay, so number two is action research. A teacher identifies a challenge in their classroom, such as students struggling with reading comprehension. They conduct research to understand the issue better and implement targeted interventions. The teacher collects data, analyzes the results, and adjusts their instructional approach accordingly. This ongoing research helps improve students' learning outcomes. Alright, let's proceed to the number three, which is the peer teaching or coaching. Teachers engage in peer observations, where they visit each other's classrooms to learn from one another. For instance, a science teacher may observe a colleague's chemistry class to gain insights into effective lab demonstrations. They then discuss their observations, share feedback, and exchange ideas for improvement. So that's the peer teaching, the importance of peer teaching and coaching. Number four is mentoring. In mentoring, an experienced teacher mentors a new colleague, providing guidance and support. They meet regularly to discuss teaching strategies, classroom management techniques, and professional development opportunities. The mentor offers advice, shares resources, and helps the new teacher navigate challenges they may encounter. Next is the conferencing. After a classroom observation, a school head meets with a teacher to discuss their teaching practice. They provide constructive feedback, highlighting strengths and areas for improvement. The conference becomes an opportunity for the teacher to reflect on their teaching methods, set goals, and receive guidance for professional growth. Okay, number six is the walkthrough. This means that the school administrators conduct a brief, non-evaluative visits to classrooms to gather data on teaching practices. For instance, an administrator may observe a science class for a few minutes to assess student engagement or the use of instructional materials, so they provide feedback to the teacher, which can inform instructional decisions and promote continuous improvement. So these examples demonstrate these instructional supervision support intervention strategies can be implemented in a classroom setting to enhance teaching practices, promote collaboration among teachers, and ultimately improve student learning outcomes.